back, deep divers. Today we're doing something a little different, just one book this time.
Yeah, we're gonna really get into the Lightbringer's journey from amateur exorcist to guardian of realms.
Quite the title, right?
It is, and finding this book was an adventure itself, almost as interesting as the plot.
Tell me about it. It's not every day you find a gem like this hiding in plain sight.
So we were exploring this blog, Dionysus. Most of it's in Greek, you wouldn't believe it.
You know me and my Greek.
Right, but somehow we found out this blog also has, get this, 17 books published in English.
17. By the same author.
Yep, Vasilevska. Clearly, they wanted to reach a broader audience, and this book.
The Lightbringer's Journey is a great example. Fantasy, supernatural stuff, even some religious themes.
Oh, yeah, it's got layers. So picture this. Our protagonist, Miguel Hernandez, he's a recent immigrant.
From Mexico, right. And very devout Catholic, if I remember correctly.
You got it. And he buys this beautiful old Victorian house in Millbrook, fresh start, new life, all that.
Right. Idyllic small town, you'd think. But then
He gets inside. And right away, it's not just that old house smell. There's sulfur, like a rotten egg stench.
oh, I hate that. Instant bad vibes.
And cold spots, like freezing cold, even though it's supposed to be summer. Classic haunted house stuff.
And of course, to make it worse.
A door slams shut. Miguel's trapped, alone, no way out. What does he do? Well,
He doesn't call the Ghostbusters, that's for sure. This is Miguel, practical guy.
exactly. He goes online, finds a website, like DIY exorcism for dummies.
Seriously, that's kind of genius, actually. Modern problems require modern solutions.
And it works. Blessed water, crucifix, prayers from the website. Boom, house is clean.
But I bet that's not the end of it. The town, Millbrook, something was up with the people, wasn't there?
Yeah, you get this sense of unease right away. Like people are hostile to Miguel, then later they don't even remember it.
That's scary. Like some kind of mass amnesia or something.
And their eyes, when they're like that, completely black. It's a detail that sticks with you.
Sends chills down your spine. So it's not just a haunted house. It's like the whole town's got a problem.
And it escalates from those weird encounters to, property getting vandalized, pets going missing.
Oh, that's awful. So it's definitely some kind of demonic force at work,
I
right?
gotta think so. But Miguel, he doesn't just run away. He finds allies. Mrs. Thompson, she's a devout neighbor.
And Father O'Brien, the priest.
Yeah,
So even with demons and whatnot, you got that human connection.
for sure. But then things go public. Imagine a town meeting, total chaos. A councilman gets possessed.
No way, in front of everyone.
And he starts speaking in this demonic voice. Talk about a scene.
I can just picture it. So now the whole town knows something seriously wrong. What happens to Miguel?
Well, the demons, they get personal. Targeting his loved ones, leaving threatening messages for him.
Oh man, that's low, even for demons.
There's this one image, a note pinned to his door with a knife.
Yeah.
They're not messing around.
Intense. Talk about psychological warfare. But didn't Miguel have some family connection to all this?
Oh, yeah. Almost forgot. His great uncle appears as a ghost, reveals a whole history of fighting darkness.
Whoa, so it's like a family legacy.
And the uncle says Millbrook is this, tipping point for some huge demonic plan.
So it's bigger than just this one town then.
Way bigger. But that's a story for next time. We've got a lot more to uncover. So we left off with Miguel's family legacy and Millbrook being this tipping point. But before we get into that, what really struck me about the Lightbringer's journey is how it blends different genres so well.
Yeah, you've got your supernatural thriller aspect, that haunted house vibe, but then...
It expands into epic fantasy,
Yeah.
with portals and other realms.
Right. And then there's this underlying religious element, not preachy, but definitely there.
It adds a lot of depth, And Laska's writing, it really pulls you in. Remember that scene where the portal opened?
Oh yeah, the sky over Millbrook, all swirling colors.
Yes. He describes it as colors no human eye was meant to see. Gives you chills,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But it's not just the big scenes, even little moments, he makes them come alive.
When Miguel's trying that online exorcism, he feels foolish, a grown man wielding a spray bottle like a weapon.
I love that.
Yeah.
So relatable, but also, he's in over his head, facing this unseen enemy.
Exactly. And then you've got Miguel's whole immigrant experience. It's not just background noise, it's woven in.
You're right. He's dealing with prejudice, trying to fit in on top of fighting demons. It's a lot.
Makes him more human. He's not just a superhero. He's this guy struggling with real life stuff too.
And his faith, that plays a huge role. It's not just about rituals, it's what gives him strength.
Like when things get really tough, it's his faith that keeps him going. Makes
Mhm.
you think about how our beliefs shape us.
For sure. And that's what makes the Lightbringer's journey so interesting. It goes beyond just fighting evil. It's about faith, community.
And resilience, like how much can one person take? But you mentioned Millbrook's importance earlier.
Yeah, the tipping point.
Right.
What exactly made it so special?
Turns out it sits on a convergence of ley lines. Those mystical energy
Oh,
lines.
right. I've heard about those. So it's like a weak spot, a gateway to our world.
Exactly. Demons are trying to use it to break through, so the stakes are even higher than we thought.
Not just about saving one town, but potentially the whole world. And Miguel's right in the middle of it.
And it takes a toll on him. He pushes himself to the limit, doubts himself, goes through this dark night of the soul.
It's like he's being tested not just physically, but spiritually too, which makes him, even more relatable.
We all have those moments, right, where we question everything. But it's through those struggles that Miguel grows.
He starts as this amateur, following online instructions, but ends up, well, a light bringer.
Yeah, he becomes something more. It's like a parallel to the reader's journey, starting skeptical, then getting drawn in.
Like we discover this book hidden on a Greek blog, then discover this whole world within it. It's pretty cool.
And it makes you think, how many other stories are out there just waiting to be found?
So many voices, so many perspectives we might never know about. It's humbling.
But that's the beauty of it. There's always something new to discover, and the Lightbringer's journey is proof of that.
Okay, so last we left off, the Lightbringer's journey ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. Milbert is safe, but there's this hint of a bigger problem brewing.
Yeah, the ending, it's not your typical happily ever after, even though Miguel succeeds in closing the portal.
Right. His great uncle warned him that Millbrook was just the beginning. What happens next? Does the book give us any clues?
It does, and it gets pretty intense. Turns out, closing the portal in Millbrook, it kind of had a ripple effect.
Oh no, like a chain reaction.
Exactly. The book mentions these other cities like Miami and New Orleans.
Places known for their, spiritual energy? I'm sensing a pattern here.
You got it. Those cities, they're suddenly facing these demonic threats. It's like a new wave of attacks.
So Miguel's job isn't done. It's not just one town. He's got to, become a global defender.
You could say that. And the book leaves it open. Like, can he ever really win? Or is this just the beginning of a much bigger fight?
Yeah, it's a good question. It makes you think about the nature of evil. Like, can you ever truly defeat it? Or is it always lurking somewhere waiting for an opportunity?
Heavy stuff, right. But that's what makes the Lightbringer's journey so powerful. It goes beyond just, like, a cool action story.
It makes you think, and it makes you feel for Miguel. He goes through so much, not just fighting demons, but with his own doubts and fears.
Right. His faith is constantly being tested. And then there's his struggle as an immigrant, trying to find his place in a new world.
It's like he's battling on multiple fronts,
Mm.
physically, spiritually, even culturally. It's a lot for one person to handle.
But he does it. And through it all, he grows stronger. He becomes more than just an amateur exorcist, like the title says.
He becomes a symbol of hope, someone
Yeah.
who stands up to darkness, even when it seems impossible.
It's a message that resonates no matter your background. We all face challenges, we all have doubts, but it's how we overcome those things that defines us.
And speaking of discovering things, the fact that we found this book on a Greek blog of all places.
It just shows you there are stories everywhere, waiting to be found, waiting to connect with people.
And sometimes those stories, they come from the most unexpected places.
Mm.
Who would have thought a blog, mostly in Greek, would lead us to this amazing book?
It's a reminder to keep exploring, keep an open mind. You never know what treasures you might find.
So to wrap things up, The Lightbringer's journey is more than just a supernatural thriller. It's a story about faith, resilience, and the power of the human spirit.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope. And sometimes, all it takes is one person to stand up and make a difference.
Well said. And with that, we come to the end of another deep dive. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of Lightbringer's journey with us.
Until next time, keep seeking out those hidden gems, keep those minds curious, and, as always, happy reading.